So like I said in my last review, this musical is pretty split, especially amongst fans, or as we put it, fandoms, which is why I'm back for another review. Yes, Alex, but you're going to be talking about the negative stuff, so pretty much the London production book. Yeah, pretty much, but can I talk about the development? Alex, we both agreed on this. Yeah, but there's more to say about the Australian production. Exactly. That's precisely the point. Oh, fine. Okay, here we go. So, most people are aware of Phantom of the Opera, whether it's from the original novel by Gaston Leroux, the silent movie version starring Lon Chaney, and many other film adaptations, but most people are more aware of the Andrew Lloyd Webber musical. A musical so big that, of course, Andrew Lloyd Webber decided to write a sequel about it. Yes, a sequel that actually started developing in the 90s, but music was never written until 2007. The sequel, which many would complain had nothing to do with the original novel, but anyway, it takes place 10 years after the event of the first story, where the Phantom is still longing for Christine despite her decision to leave with Raoul, but manages to lure her to come to Coney Island, where he has become pretty successful. The story involves pretty much him trying to get her to sing, and more is revealed about what happened after the Phantom escaped the opera house. Andrew Lloyd Webber always intended the story to take place in early 20th century Manhattan, and after seeing a documentary about the fairgrounds of Coney Island, this was where the Phantom would live, still hiding in the shadows but being able to create his dark, twisted world for everyone to see. The first production opened in London in 2010 but received mostly negative reviews. A lot of rewrites and changes were made, however, for the Melbourne production in 2011, which received better reviews, but still didn't last long. However, there is a DVD of this production, and as far as the London production, there is the original soundtrack. So these are the two productions that we'll be looking at today, and our own personal opinions on it. But I must warn you that there will be some spoilers. So without further ado, let's look at the actual storyline. The biggest difference between the London and Australian production was the beginning of the story and how the show opened. Much like the original Phantom musical, the London production gave a framing device of Madame Giry looking back on what happened on the island. Although this time we don't exactly have much gimmicks like a chandelier rising above the audience's head, so the framing device is pretty pointless in this one. Once we are back in time to the opening of Phantasma, hosted by the mysterious Mr. Y. Oh my god. In the song Heaven by the Sea, which transitions to Meg Giry as the star of the carnival, and then introduces the Phantom and sings Till I Hear You Sing, in which she is still pining for Christine Daae, but she arrives on Coney Island in order to work for a huge amount of money to get out of debt Raoul has caused the family, but she is unaware that her employer is the Phantom. Okay, so we've already got problems that don't really make that much sense. How did the Australian production do it? Well, by having the song Till I Hear You Sing at the very beginning. So, we're immediately introduced to the Phantom and we understand his objective, the main goal of the story, which is to get Christine back into his life. Then, after this big number, we are introduced to the world he created on Coney Island, and then we are introduced to Madame Giry and her daughter Meg. I personally like this scene between Meg and Madame Giry, as it sets up that Christine is being hired by Mr. Hammerstein and the Phantom is secretly listening in and sets his plan in motion. However, I'm not sure about having Till I Hear You Sing at the very, very beginning. While we are given the objective of the show at the very beginning, there's no sense of build-up, especially for a character like Phantom of the Opera, who mostly keeps himself in the shadows. Yes, we have, of course, seen him in the first musical, even seen what's behind the mask, but at the same time he is still mysterious and kept in secret, even if his creativity is spread across the island. For me personally, I still wanted that build-up to him, much like how there is still the build-up to the monster in Bride of Frankenstein, despite having already seen him in the first movie. Maybe if we have the Coney Island Waltz as our opening number, introducing the Phantom's world, and see Meg and Madame Jury discussing Christine coming with that haunting melody, and then we see the Phantom listening in and then sing his solo as it would build up his character and see him set his plan in motion, as well as expressing his longing for his angel of music. But with the two versions we have, I personally prefer the Australian version because it has the plot device of Mr. Hammerstein, who originally hired Christine, but the Phantom gets there first and offers her even more money. In the London production, she's already hired by the Phantom. She just doesn't know that it's him and sees a lot of weird things and suspicious things going around, and she hasn't got a clue what's going on. Yeah. So the beginnings of the stories are really the main differences between the two productions. But let's look at why many dislike Love Never Dies. As we find out when the Phantom and Christine unite, before he escaped France, she managed to find his hiding place and they have a night of passion. Some say they can't quite get behind this idea since she did choose Raoul at the end of the first show, or maybe because they never could see them going all the way. However, I never had a problem with this, mainly because I always believed that Christine truly loved the Phantom but chose Raoul for security and knew it was the right thing to do. But it's totally understandable that others believe that she truly wanted Raoul, so I won't argue there. As far as believing that they would actually sleep together, again, I had no problem, since in the first musical, the Phantom pretty much seduces and uses psychological manipulation on Christine, using his passion for music and his incredible singing voice. And this is definitely used in the title song, Music of the Night, Wandering Child, and Point of No Return. With the amount of sexual tension between them in the first musical, it really doesn't surprise me that they would eventually sleep together. But if there is one thing that I can agree with others disliking the musical, is what they did to the character of Raoul. Yes, it appears being married to Christine Daae turns you into a drunken gambler, wasting away your fortune, leaving you in debt, as well as not being a good father or a good husband. You still think Christine made the right choice at the end of Phantom? Even though Raoul was not the most interesting character in the first musical, at least you understand the attraction Christine had, since they were childhood sweethearts, along with him actually caring enough to protect her despite not fully understanding what was going on with the Phantom. Sure, it may not be as good as the original novel, but still. With Love Never Dies, it was pretty much like the writers just didn't care about him or just wanted to make the Phantom even more sympathetic. But in all fairness, I actually thought that the decision between the two men for Christine was more unpredictable. Probably because both men have their huge flaws, and it seems the only good thing in their lives is Christine, so she's actually putting much more pressure here. But that's not the only thing that's good about Love Never Dies. While the visuals and music look different, it still feels like Phantom in a way that does fit the spirit of the first musical, but at the same time it can stand on its own. The visuals have that darkness but also romantic edge, and the music is definitely the best part of the whole production. Beautiful melodies and the emotion is what carries it through. Is it as good as the first Phantom? Hell no. But you can see the effort and the passion in the music, visuals, performances, and while I can totally understand why many dislike it, I personally think it's still worth the watch. Whether it's listening to the London soundtrack or watching the Australian DVD, at least you'll get some kind of experience. Thank you for watching, and Alex, I am the one who finishes our videos, remember? Okay, can I just give, like, a clue to the next Broadway Baby review? Okay, alright. What's your clue then? It's quite a simple one, actually. I guess the best way to give you a hint is... Is that it? Yeah, that's pretty much it. Okay, fair enough. Alright then. Well, there you have it there, folks. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and thank you for watching, and we hope to see you in the next review. Bye!